In this video we're going to look at the half halt. What is the half halt and how do you go about applying a half halt to a horse? The half halts are really important and they're an aid to ask the horse to slow down or do a transition, or for eventually being able to have the power but also contain the pace. So there's different varieties of half halts. But the most basic one is making sure the horse slows down when you ask them to. So it's almost like your braking system. So all I'm going to do here is squeeze the reins. Like you've got putty in your fingers, you don't want it coming from the elbows, the shoulders. It is literally a feeling through your fingers down to the end of the rein. So when you do this, I like to think of squeeze, release, squeeze, release, squeeze, release. So you're applying little bits of pressure down the reins. Depending on how sensitive your horse is, depends on how quickly they'll respond. Some horses, as soon as you do it, they will slow right down and come to almost a stop, and others will just carry on and completely ignore the half halt. So it's important that they understand what you're asking them for. So along with the half halt with the fingers, I also use my seat. So I use the rising to start off with if you've got a horse that's just learning to half halt, and I slow the rising down at the same time as squeezing on the reins. I use both reins, especially at the very beginning when you're teaching a horse to respond correctly to a half halt, and then eventually you can start using the different rein aids as they get more confident and have more of an understanding. So when we talk about a horse not responding or running through a half halt, it means when you squeeze and release to slow them down. So we're doing on and back in the trot, you're squeezing the rein to slow the trot down, and if you apply a little give to the rein, like a little give and retake, if the horse starts moving forward without you asking them to, then they're running through the half halt. If when you apply the squeeze, release aid or the half halt to the horse and they stop, then they're not in front of your leg enough. So it's making sure you get the right balance of your half halt, and therefore if you've got a horse that stops dead, then you have to make sure that they are thinking forward to the half halt, not backwards. And when you've got a horse that's running through the half halt, you have to make sure that they're coming back to you and waiting for you until you ask them otherwise. So it's making it really black and white for them. Whether your horse is a forward thinker or a backward thinker to the half halt, you as a rider have to decide which one your horse is and then use exercises to help. So if you've got a forward thinking horse, you may want to use the transitions down to walk to make sure they're not running through the half halt. And if you've got a slightly backward thinking horse who slams on the brakes, then you want to be thinking on and back in your trot, not coming back to walk so quickly.